All right, so I just woke up from, well, it was an unintentional nap. Um, I fell asleep trying to watch a movie. Um, when did I try to start watching? I think somewhere around like 6 o'clock, right? So now I just woke up. I had my portable charger plugged up since probably like, when did I start plugging my portable up? I think I had my portable charger plugged into the wall um since about what 4 p.m., 5 p.m., and it did not charge, not one bar. So that in itself is already a telltale sign of electromagnetic interference or interferometry, where they're basically stealing the energy from being able to enter into the device so that it can charge or work properly. Not only just that, interesting enough, um, remember I told you I live in Niger, so you already know that there's most likely corruption in that, and collusion with the cabal, um, Con Edison, hell, whoever controls these LED lights that they installed out here, these smart street lamps with the sensors on it. It's all in collusion. Then on top of that, um, I woke up, as always, woke up with my head just like swollen with frequencies and energy. Then, among other things, I wake up to, you know, the neighboring perpetrators basically just uh, talking about and conversing about me supposedly being a noisy neighbor, but nobody ever actually came and told me to turn down anything, or ever to inform me that I'm a noisy neighbor or anything like that. And then on top of that, they're attacking my mother too. And that's exactly, we got to remember, we're dealing with people who they're trying to find every single way that they can to break an individual down, especially the strongest ones. I mean, remember the Willie Lynch story, right? Um, they basically try to find, Willie, in the story of Willie Lynch, he basically tries to find the most strongest and um well, I guess you could say most respectable um slave that all the other slaves could probably gravitate to, or probably the one slave that can lead a revolt against the master. Basically what they do is they go after the strongest one and they try to break them down. They try to break them down physically, mentally, and spiritually. So then, once all of the other slaves see that the strongest one was basically broken down, then it basically breaks the spirit of everyone else. So this is the process that target individuals are going through, because one, many of us are highly very highly intelligent. Well, many of us are very intelligent in several different ways, spiritually, physically, um and cognitively. Yeah. um I did that because I was like physically intelligent, I don't know, but yeah. So, and then remember what I said in my last video is their whole purpose is to basically yeah, there's a lot of pressure in my left ear. Yeah, so um they know that I have found a number of different ways that I can remedy whatever they're doing, or at least minimize the amount of pain and pressure that they're doing. They know that I know most of the things, and I try to teach everyone what I know or what I have learned that works for me. Um, but then, somebody like my mother, like I try to, show her or do for her, but then, like stuff like healing frequencies, she doesn't utilize it as much as I try to get her to use it. The salt and radiation, but she at least does the salt and baking soda radiation detox bath. She at least does that every so often, but not as consistent as she probably needs to. But yeah. But anyway, so yeah, they're going after her. Um, but you always got to remember that God has a purpose for every single person born into this on this earth, and each and every single person is born with special abilities, a special strength. But it's all supposed to be. I mean, it's only but a matter of time when we actually can learn or our gifts and our strengths be revealed to us over time. Most of us aren't necessarily fully aware of what we're truly capable of until, some for some is much earlier in life, and for some is much later in life. But telling from the time period that we're in right now, we're definitely in that part where I think we're in that time period where right now the I would say the worldly rulers and powers that be are selecting all those or forcing all those who are easily to be controllable, or selecting all those who will not resist the overcoming of their well-beings, or their um what's the words I'm looking for? I can't even really think about it. But anyway, yeah, like I told you, I'm a spiritualist, and I believe in angels, guard, ancestral guardians. I believe in deities. I believe in demons. I believe in fallen angels. I believe in God. And right now, I've been doing a lot more reading and watching more documentaries or sermons about the fallen angels. And look, there are several billion people on this earth. Well, you gotta remember, in the Bible it says 1/3. Now, 1/3 of the world's population has to be removed during the I guess the period where God's judgment over the earth or over humanity takes place. Now, yeah, probably part of that 1/3 are probably good people, but then there's also another portion of that that population, that 1/3 is probably a lot of well, also some very negatively influencing people too, that's in this world. But for the most part, yeah, I'm just trying to make it through. I'm trying to, basically do what I can to help my mother. Um, doing everything that I could, but remember, one of the best things you could do in understanding how to control your peace is learn to accept the things that you cannot control. Learn to accept the things that you cannot, at least at that moment, you cannot, stop. And what they're doing right now, is they're talking about how I won't protect my mother. Oh, he doesn't care about secret society, da da da. He has no respect for secret society. It's like they're attacking her, right? They're attacking her in a way that I don't have a complete defense against, and she has no real, understanding on how to defend herself, at least from the physical standpoint. The spirit of God is constantly moving through her, and God is keeping her going, because she still has a purpose left in this life. That's why she has not been taken yet. She still has a purpose in this life. And these Satanists, their whole agenda is to basically, if they can't use their tactics and get through to me and break my spirit, they can't break mine. They're going to go after her because she's doing it in a different way. And because she's doing it in a different way, that's basically a lot more strenuous. They're going to go after her because she's the easier target. And they're hoping that by getting through to her, it'll affect me. They could do whatever they want, whether they're in the empty apartment downstairs or they're, upstairs, basically watching, through, I don't know if they're probably just like sitting all in a circle or something. And then, I don't know if how many of you watch Black Mirror, but in Black Mirror, they basically, humans are fully augmented and they could basically just sit there and then like they can think of like controlling features of videos and memories or whatever the case may be. Maybe they're operating like that, or they're probably watching it from, a laptop or TV, whatever the case. Or the other thing is, like, you got to remember we're talking about metaverse and digital twinning. So they have a whole nother copy. They have a whole nother digital copy of the world. So where everything that you're looking at, they can see that, plus there's other digital content that's all around the physical world. But anyway, yeah, they're trying to do everything they can to see if they can break us down. And um, luckily for me, I've been doing enough research to know this is supposed to happen. This is supposed to happen because nothing under this sun is new, nothing at all. So everything that they're doing is things that other civilizations have been doing for centuries in the past. And for the most part, I at least know what happens to those civilizations that tried to do the same thing in the past. And it's going to be the same story. It's the only thing I just don't know is will I grow old to be able to tell the story of what humanity did to damn near destroy itself because of greed because of greed, you know, gross desires and things of that sort, because they basically think they're doing this to try to preserve themselves and to protect their families. And well, to be honest, I mean, Lucifer encourages people to engage in their Lucifer encourages humans to basically engage in um um fulfilling their desires, no matter how dark it is. And what's happening now all across the world is those who are fulfilling their desires, they're also being given. They're also see. And so I don't know if you just heard him. You just heard him say, "Oh, now the secret society," So, um, um, but yeah. So now, what's basically happening is anyone who has these gross desires of whatever, whether it's money or it's sexual desires or desires of causing pain to people or desires of being able to steal or whatever they want, whatever they want to do and get away with it. It's like, don't worry about it. You're a part of a legion of people who all want to fulfill their desires too. And we have control of the governments, we have control of the law enforcement, we have control of just about every sector or every facet of life. And we're going to do all that we want because we control who gets punished for it. They're basically playing God on earth. And we all ought to know what happens to civilizations, what happens to populations of humanity from the past that try to play gods on earth, and it does not ever work out the way that they think. They'll have a time period for which they rule. They'll have a time period where they basically build themselves into a comfort where it seems like everything that they do, nothing can touch them. God allows this because it happens every few generations. There's always a time period where people are like they basically indulge in all of these carnal desires and carnal sins, and they do it in ways to the point where they feel like nothing can touch them, like nothing at all. Everything they do, they're going to be able to get away with it. And then they build a comfort, and they believe that nothing is ever going to happen to them. You think the Soviet Union thought that they were going to fall? The Soviet Union thought they were top shit. You think the Egyptians thought they were going to fall? They thought they were top shit too. You thought the Greeks and Romans thought they would fall? They thought they were top shit too. Several civilizations. And then you can go even farther back if you want to talk about those many civilizations that are like found deep underwater and things of that sort. And I don't know much about the marine kingdom and all that, but yeah, and the Nephilim, but they all thought they were top shit too. Yeah, then God and the holy angels said, all right, okay, that time is now. Unleash the plagues. God's 7 vials of his wrath are going to be continued to be poured out on the earth. What you need to do as someone being targeted in this time period, you need to get closer to God. You need to get more connected. Because when you get yourself more connected, they got frequencies going into both ears. So I feel pressure build up in both ears, but I'm not too worried about that. So what you need to do is find your peace and hold on to it for dear life, because it's only peace, love, and enlightenment that's going to carry you through this war. Peace, love, and enlightenment. Do not put any fear. Do not allow any fear to set in your mind, in your heart, or don't even let it set into your body, because anything that's low vibrational during this time period is going against your existence. And you want to try to maintain yourself through this whole thing, through every spiritual, highly vibrational, spiritual energy that you can muster, any type of way that you can physically remove negative energy. That's whether it's exercising, meditating, singing, dancing, do things that you enjoy doing, painting, writing. Focus on the thing. And I just got chills when I said that. So now I know I'm telling the truth. Do the things that you love doing that actually helps someone else, or that someone can actually get inspired from, or whatever. Do the focus on those things that you love, because um at the end, when those floodgates open, I kid you not, when those floodgates open, if God chooses you to basically have no harm done unto you, you're going to have already been in the right place and at the right time, where you're going to be protected or above everything that's going to happen to the rest of the population that's basically engaging in this this unethical genocide against everything that is right, honest, and loving. Love does not come with ultimatums. Love does not come with ultimatums. You know, everything that you do is always going to be connected to the result or outcome of your choice. Everything that you do will have a lesson attached to it. So right now, they're basically forcing frequencies into my ears, and they're also attacking, uh, most likely the heart chakra and the solar plexus chakra. But they're also attacking the pineal gland chakra and the crown chakra too. But I don't worry too much about it, because I know everything that I'm doing will not go in vain. Whatever happens to me, it's not going to be, I'm not allowing it to become some accident, or they'll be able to say, oh, he was doing this, or whatever the case, he didn't do this for his mother. They're gonna try to, spin whatever stories that they can. Either way, it's March 1st. It's almost time for me to get those scans. And let me see. Also, the targeted justice lawsuit too. That I think there's some proceedings that's supposed to be happening before my birthday. So I can't wait to see how that unfolds. All they need to do is basically, well, I can't say all they need to do, but what we really just need to do is have the funding cut from this whole entire program. Because I mean, there's more than enough former NSA, CIA, FBI, DOH, agents. There's more than enough former Navy, Air Force, Army, Marine. There's more than enough, people who were either already, who are still within those systems, and then systems or agencies or departments, or who have worked in those agencies and departments, that's been telling about what's happening for years. But the only problem is no one protects, no one is, it's like there's not enough people protecting those who are out there trying to expose the truth about, these beasts that have infiltrated all of, our governments. Not just United States intelligence, but the intelligence of the world. Whether it's China, Russia, India, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, um, Israel, um, parts of Mexico. It's global. It's a whole world order. It's a world order that's basically trying to create hell on earth, or rather solidify hell on earth. And right now we're all basically praying for a divine intervention, because it seems like humanity just isn't, we're not it seems like we're not gathering ourselves up enough, or combining our efforts enough to be able to rectify, or defend those who can't defend themselves enough. But I guess we really shouldn't worry too much about it, because, well, at some point we already know what's going to happen, because it's happened to several civilizations in the past. They're not doing anything new. So that's why we really shouldn't worry about it. We just know that this is the time where, okay, we know these things have happened in the past. So it's like, okay, so this is happening. So all I got to do is protect my peace, and then just pray that I'm chosen to actually outlast and be able to survive all of this anyway. So, but, all right. Well, I took my portable charger and plugged it up in the living room, hoping that it'll probably charge in there. But if it doesn't, I got my regular charger. They pick and choose when they want to basically prevent me from being able to either charge my portable charger, or they pick and choose when they want to mess with the internet, so then we can't have Wi-Fi service. They want me to constantly stay on data, using the cellular data, because then they can force my cell phone to connect to one of their digital um, twin cell towers. And then they are basically, taking all the data that's being collected from my phone and uploading it to their cloud, so then they can do whatever they want of manipulation tactics to my digital clone that's on their cloud server. Whatever the case, it's already written. Yeah, I just got that. I got that one from a sermon I listened to about fallen angels and rulers of the world and everything. It's just knowing that Jesus was not gonna, allow, like, Jesus. How did he say it? Basically saying Jesus was not gonna really allow himself to be stressed, knowing all of the evils that is going on and happening in the world, because it was already written. Everything that's happening. Look, and they're like, he's woke. Everything that's happening right now was already written. It was written in tablets, written on paper, carved on the walls of caves, and even carved into metals in the past. It was already written. So what's about to happen to them is inevitable. What you got to do is find ways to protect your peace. What's about to happen to them was already written. Everything about them is about to be erased. All you have to do is protect your peace during this whole process. Because everything that they are fighting to obtain are all things that God does not care for humanity to basically be holding it, so dearly. Because it's not what we were meant to be. It's not what we were meant to be having or living our lives based on. So anyway, yeah, it was already written, and continue to protect your peace during this warfare. None of us know when we're going to be chosen to leave this earth, but we do know that if we do everything we can to be the example of God's love and mercy in this world, there is a favor. There is a favor for those people. So let them continue to do what they're doing. Don't you allow yourself to become violent, agitated, stressing out the cells in your body. Let them continue to be the beast worshippers that they are. Their existence is already being erased as we speak in multiple dimensions. Hell, they're erasing their own existence by changing their DNA just so that they can absorb more, radiation and be able to see and hear more data or more information. Trust and believe, their whole existence is already being erased. They changed the way God made them in this world just so that they can become superhuman. Yeah. Remember, Nephilim were basically half human and half fallen angel. Remember, the Nephilim were half human, half fallen angel. What do you think they're doing right now? They're transhumanizing every single person, or a majority of the human population. Transhumanism, augmentating. I mean, we're talking about beast technology. Beast is also in relation to fallen angels and demons. So I'm just thinking to myself, well, technology in itself, techno-paganism, is basically ritual works of fallen angels. So when you think about it, they're basically turning everyone into new forms of Nephilim. When you really think about it, so when you think about it like that, if everyone's being transformed into new generational versions of the Nephilim, then you know what's going to happen. Then you already know what's going to happen. So all you need to do is just make sure that you're doing everything to be the example of God's love to your sisters and brothers, and just be aware. Continue to be aware. Continue to pay attention to the messages that you may be getting from the holy angels. There's a lot of pressure in both ears. It's I think I explained this earlier. It's like someone taking Q-tips and they're like forcing the Q-tips into your ear. And when I pinch on the frequency and I pull it away, when I pull it away from the ear, that's when the pressure relieves. Anyway, all right. I need to go back to sleep because I gotta be up in about 2 hours. Oh, yeah. Hopefully my portable charger charges. If not, I got so much documentation of, this interferometry stuff. I've been documenting the satellites in question, that's possibly being used for interferometry. I've been documenting the digital cell towers that's all around my living quarters, including the coordinates of where these satellites are. I mean, it's not the satellites, but the cell towers. and the distance in meters and how far or how wide, the range is, and from certain digital cell towers, because these cell towers, they're not owned. Digital twin cell towers are not owned by phone companies. They're owned by a completely different entity, that to the point where the app that I use, Architecture of Radio, it does not say it says unknown carrier. So that just lets you know that there's a whole digital entity that's working to basically manipulate every human being through frequency. But yeah, all right. I'll catch y'all later. I'm gonna try to go back to sleep. All right, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.